Hey, everybody! Happy Wednesday to everyone out there listening. It's Midnight Edge After Dark. What's going on? I'm, of course, your narrator, Beams of Rob Shlomo. With me, as always, was Tom Connors.
Baba Booey.
Yes, Baba Booey. And with us is the Anti-Trekker.
Hey, everybody, how's it going? Soon to be a cyborg, by the way, as of tomorrow.
Yeah, he's getting a new knee so he can kick Rob's ass.
Exactly.
I'm a bender. I bend girders. That's all I'm programmed to do.
That's right. And joining us, as always, your favorite YouTube harpy, the one, the only, the demon angel, ninja warrior, Viking, mistress, award-winning chef, Freemason. She has a BA, a BS, an MBA, a PhD, an Emmy, an ESPY, a Tony, an Oscar, some ghost
and lots of ghost money.
I get the feeling you're exaggerating just a bit.
Miss Mecha Random.
There's an asterisk close to some of that.
The asterisk is in her own mind.
She identifies with those things. Don't dare take that away from her.
Right.
You stupid dick.
Okay.
Where did that come from?
No idea.
Came from my CD collection.
Well, I like that one.
So anyway, what's going on in the news? It's been kind of a slow couple news days.
Well, before we get into the news, I have a special request.
Okay.
All right. So since I am, in fact, going to be a cyborg in less than 24 hours, I would like to request that in the future that when you introduce me, you play the $6 Million Man.
I'll file. Oh, yeah, we may get copyright struck for it, but who owns that? I don't know.
As long as you keep it less than like 15 seconds, it won't get you in trouble. Or just do the sound effect, you know,
that ain't always true. I got that Eddie Murphy thing.
Oh, brother.
Well,
I'll do something for you there.
Okay.
Anti-Trekker. But anyway.
You're
not my supervisor!
We're coming forward with the side stick. Looks good. Roger. I've got a blowout.
She's breaking up. She's breaking up.
Pitches out. I can't hold altitude. Direction. Alpha horn is on. Trip selected.
Yes.
Flight com, I can't hold it.
You know what I'm thinking? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. It'll take a little bit of work, but I will find a way to create a custom version of that with my voice instead of Lee Majors. So,
Anti-Trekker, astronaut, a man barely alive. Technology,
Better, stronger, faster.
Yeah, Michael J. Crawford is the $6 man.
Plus tax.
Yeah. Sorry, we don't have the budget for
yes.
For that.
We're very low budgeted here. Sorry.
That's all right. I can understand.
Okay.
Not really metal.
Okay, so let's get on to let's try to do something that resembles your show.
Well, there was
that
Birds of Prey trailer. I guess we could start with.
Okay, you guys got.
That was a trailer. I thought that was. I thought that was a bunch of little clips of a bunch of bad Lifetime movies and Spike TV movies thrown into a blender and puked out by a retarded monkey.
They shouldn't be afraid of you or Mr. J. They should be afraid of me.
Ollie.
That trailer was, oh man, it's one thing. I mean, I understand that a lot of us probably did not have a particularly high set of expectations because of Suicide Squad, and this is kind of sort of, it's being billed as a sequel to Suicide Squad, and it's but it's so bad. It's like I don't even know how do you make a movie that looks this bad. I mean, because usually you can at least, like, even The Last Jedi, as much as I know we all hated it, it had a pretty good trailer.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make the trailer for something look this bad?
Kind of like Robert April said last night, there's no Birds of Prey in my Birds of Prey trailer.
It reminds me of Monkey Bone. I always go back to Monkey Bone. It reminds me of the bad trailer from Monkey Bone, where I'm like, what the crap is this? And I know nobody remembers that movie and there's a reason for that. The movie sucked.
It came out when I had my video store, and you rented it.
Yeah, because it sucked.
What was Monkey Bone?
Tom,
I don't think I've never seen Monkey Bone. What was
Brendan
Monkey
Fraser?
Think about Who Framed Roger Rabbit with a monkey in it.
Yeah.
Bone? Wow.
Before we go any further, Tom, are we doing Win Your Stuff tonight, or
Shit, why not?
or
Gotta find something to give away.
okay?
We'll play the theme song and tease it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's time for Win Tom Stuff. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are playing another round of Win Tom Stuff. As you know, the rules are: you make a super chat now, and your name goes up on the big wheel. Now, just to preface this as a disclaimer, any super chat will do. We are not trying to make a buck off of this. We are only trying to cover the postage cost. And the name that goes up on the wheel, that is on the wheel, on the spin, will get Tom Stuff. International players, you will have to accept possibly a substitute prize if that stuff of Tom's that you win is something like a Blu-ray player, and will be region locked because of the region lock system. So thank you once again for indulging us.
You're giving away Blu-ray players?
Not players, Blu-ray.
I was gonna say, awesome. I'm gonna put a super chat in.
In fact, I got one that's worth a little bit of money sitting over there because I have two of them, and it's still in the plastic. So I know one of them already, but I'll throw in a few. And these can go anywhere. CDs can play anywhere. So the one of them is the Gremlins soundtrack. It's got the original soundtrack plus all the score for the first time.
Hear that? Tom, do you want to maybe put it up on camera for people to see?
I don't have it on. My camera's still behind my damn computer again. But my son got me an extension for my cord, so it couldn't happen no more.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I'll bring up a thing for it so people can see what it is.
Wow, you sound older than me.
I just feel like below.
My son brought me an extension for my cord.
Yeah, well, it's true. He did. He showed up with one. Anyway. There. So your camera quits falling behind the thing.
Like I said, everybody, like I said, the rules are you make a super chat, and any super chat will do, and you will go on the wheel to win Tom Stuff. Thank you, Mr. Wolverine 007. Thank you, Night Breeze. Your name will go up on the wheel.
And we'll draw them at the end of the night.
Yes, we will draw them at the conclusion, at the end of the show. And the rules are: if you make a super chat, your name goes to the wheel. Multiple super chats will not get you multiple spots on the wheel. You will only get one spot on the wheel.
That has dun 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 dun, dun on the end. I love that. This is a look at it. It's a 2-disc set. It has the original soundtrack in there, which is out of print, and the newer one, which has the score on it by Jerry Goldsmith. Bird of Prey, did you get him on there too? We got a $2. No whammies. $1 from Night Breeze.
Yeah, Bird of Prey 5, by the way, is very excited about the fact that he has a movie named after him coming soon.
Really cool.
Really?
Well, it's called Birds of Prey, but it's
Oh yeah, that's right. We were just talking about that stupid thing.
Yeah.
Let's get back to that. Okay, let's get back.
Really?
Hey, isn't that the opening? That's the theme song, right?
Might be.
Yeah.
Let me look.
Hey, that's spoilers. Don't give it away.
But yeah, I gotta go. So I got some other CDs I can give with that too, though, to make it.
Okay,
That's
so far. So
That's
far,
pretty-
actually, I might have something to win in the very near future.
You should have got something cool in the mail today that I didn't get because mine's on back order, even though I ordered mine first for some weird reason.
I did get something very cool. Fortunately, it arrived. You're fired.
The other mistake.
So that is very cool. Thank you very much for that too.
I gotta pay you somehow.
No.
It's like
Okay, those are for the super chats. But okay, where were we before?
we were talking about Birds of Prey, but I think we lost interest.
Yeah,
that was like the shortest segment we've ever done.
yeah. Chief Cook. I do remember the Birds of Prey TV series. It's supposed to be the daughter between Catwoman and Batman. Was supposed to be the main character.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to come out on DVD, or it did, but it's like hard to find. It was one I always eyeballed back in the day, and I never got.
I remember watching it when it first came on and thought, yeah, this sucks, and then didn't watch it again after the first episode.
Well, Batman's in like the first episode or whatever, and I think that clip's on YouTube, and yeah, it looks pretty. Oh, what was that?
That was just some random thing falling off my desk. Nothing to worry about.
He didn't die? All right. The other thing was the Terminator trailer. I tried watching it, but it's like a foreign trailer, and I didn't like it. So.
Is it a new one? There's a new Terminator trailer?
Yeah.
Does it actually look like a Terminator movie now?
Yeah.
So, no?
The Terminator. I'm just not interested in this new Terminator movie, I don't think.
Yeah, neither am I.
It's like every other Terminator movie since, 3. It's like I just don't care.
Here's the thing about the Terminator. The Terminator, it's not a franchise. It is an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, the first one. It is a great Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and
I must correct you. It's a classic, not just a movie.
Exactly. It is a classic Schwarzenegger movie, and it has a very good sequel.
That's the best sequel of all time. Get it right.
That's it. That is it. It is not a franchise. Stop trying to make it a franchise.
Yeah, they really. I think the problem is that the studios and studios really don't understand. They think anything can be a franchise, but you have to have a bigger story than one person is going to save the universe. Mm-hmm. You need a bigger story than that. You need to have a larger scale, a larger scope. You have to have more than one main character. Like Sarah Connor is, to me, I know you say it's a Schwarzenegger film, but really, to me, it's always been about Sarah Connor.
Yeah, well,
and Sarah Connor is a great story for 2 movies.
Yes.
Sarah Connor is not a great story for 6, 7, 8 movies. And that's what, and notice that where the franchise fell apart is when Sarah Connor left. And Sarah Connor didn't leave because, I think the only reason that Linda Hamilton didn't come back really is there's no story to tell for her.
Well, and I will stick up for Terminator 3 and Salvation from time to time. I mean, where else were you going to go with those movies? But that's just it. It's already been done. Now They keep going back. Like the last one, that's what it was. It was like a reboot. And now they're doing it again. And my problem with this one is that Sarah Connor has always been one of the most beloved female heroines in action history.
Yes.
Right? Sarah Ripley. And what this movie is doing is making her a failure just so they can put a new savior on a pedestal because she's a woman. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing. Sarah Connor was a badass just because she was forced into a situation. Now they're trying to, like with this new one where they have the Warriors 3, with the LGB 2000 in the middle. You
forgot that works.
Yeah. That's awesome.
but the thing is that they're literally just trying to make it into a girl power thing, and that's never been with the franchise. But the story of Sarah Connor was not girl power. It was, wow, she's in a bad situation, and she's going to do everything she can to survive in order to make it work. You know, and it was a great story, just like Ripley from the Alien franchise or anything else. Sarah Connor was well written in those first two films. When you take her out or you turn her into a feminist symbol, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it's like they're weakening the character by making it that now it's because she's a woman.
Right.
It's like they're written regardless of gender. Like, well, at least with like something like Ripley, she was written regardless of gender. But like Sarah Connor, you know, you kind of needed just some of these stories. You need them to be people first, and yeah.
Although let me pick a slight fight with you, Mecca. Just slight, nothing major. But as far as Ellen Ripley in Alien, could have been man, could have been a woman, would not change the story at all. In Aliens, it had to be a woman.
Yeah.
And now, granted, Ellen Ripley was already an established character by that point, so James Cameron knew what he was working with. But but Ellen Ripley, and that's why I love Aliens, and I will maintain that Aliens is the single best strong female character in cinema, period. Because it's not just the fact that Sigourney Weaver plays a female character, obviously, who kicks lots of ass. It's the fact that everything in that movie that motivates her goes back to femininity. Everything in that movie reinforces the fact that she's a woman. And when you see the director's cut, it does it even more. You know, the whole thing with her and Newt, the whole thing about what finally got her to go back to the planet was because she realized there were families in danger. Everything was triggering her maternal instincts. They didn't shy away from femininity. They reinforced it and showed the true strength and badassery of femininity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Sarah Connor was the mother of the future from the
exactly, and that's what they did with the original Terminator.
I mean, if she wasn't flawed and she came in like Ray, nobody would care about her. No, when she starts out, she's practically still a teenager. Mm-hmm. So I think she's only like 18, 19 or whatever in the first movie. She just gets all this shit dumped on her lap. You know, got a guy trying to kill her out of nowhere. Then finds out that she's supposed to be the mother of the future. And then in the second film, she becomes the greatest mother of all time, right next to Pamela Voorhees. You know, I mean, who would you rather have as your mother? At least one of those two, because you know neither one of them is going to let shit happen to you. And if it does, they're going to have hell to pay. Right. You know, I'd argue, you know, and you could throw Sarah Ripley or
Sarah Ripley,
Ellen Ripley,
right? Ellen Ripley in there too, to a point, with the motherly stuff with Newt and stuff like you were saying. Michael, because that's like the whole thing is she loses her daughter because her daughter grows up without her,
right?
You know, so she has this loss, and they don't really show that in the theatrical cut, but like you're saying in the director's cut, they really hit that home even more. So we got another super chat there, Rob. You got the wheel handy?
Yes, let's take a look. Yeah, it's on the wheel. Where the hell am I? Oh, there it is. Thomas Potts for $1.99. Fight, beat Anti-Trekker up. No.
Wait, what?
No, he's fine because I didn't specify.
Thomas. Ugh.
All right, we got 5 names on the wheel.
Come on, we need more than that, people. I'm not sending. This is an expensive CD. The CD itself is like almost $30. Mm-hmm. Don't make me beg here.
I you know, if it was vinyl, I would definitely put a super chat in.
I have the vinyl version, but that's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
that's from 1984. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was listening just before the show. I was listening to my old vinyl of Billy Joel, 52nd Street.
Ooh, good album.
Yeah.
That's
the show for today, folks.
I feel like you and I are probably the only Billy Joel fans. I don't think Mecca and Rob are the big.
No, not at all.
Isn't he country? You
know, I've never.
I saw Sir Paul at Yankee Stadium back in 2011, I think, or 2010, or whatever it was, and He comes out for the encore. Thank you very much, Yankee Stadium. I'd like to bring out a good friend of mine, a good friend of New York, Mr. Billy Joel. And Billy Joel came out and they sang I Saw Her Standing There.
That's cool.
That was cool. Because you always read about those moments. You always hear about, you see them after the fact, and like Rolling Stone, you used to see them. You know, Billy Joel joined Paul McCartney on stage but you're never witness to one.
Right.
I finally saw one.
You got another super chat.
$2. I'd like to buy a vowel, Tom.
You can have O.
Oh.
Nelson Toretta's name goes up on the wheel.
So yeah, that was the big trailer news. Other than that, Mecca sent me the story. They finally revealed Pussyface from Star Wars.
What the frick?
The weird dick-looking creature on the poster that leaked.
No, that's the penis monster. This one's a different one.
Oh, there's another one. They have two looking weird penis monsters in this movie. Great.
Well, no, this one looks like what a penis goes into.
Sort of, but I thought it was the same thing, just close up.
No, the penis monster just looks like a penis.
Why is it everything that's new in JJ Star Wars looks like the little worm from fucking
Baba Booey?
I'd say they look more like the the worm from Eraserhead.
Or that too, but like this one really reminds me of the worm from Labyrinth. Hello, did you say hello? No, I said hello because that guy. It does.
Yeah.
Look at that. I don't know. It's just me.
I think it's just you.
Captain Robert April.
Yeah.
Wow. What's
Well,
with the low
chat.
energy today?
What is this CD you speak of? So, Captain Robert April, your name goes up on the wheel. But this whole thing with this, the whole thing, you know, this movie is having a hard time getting people excited about it. You're not helping.
You know what?
No.
That thing is creepy looking.
Oh, of course, Rachel Leichman loves him though.
Of course, because Rachel Leichman's an idiot.
Tell me he doesn't look like it.
I said it. If you're listening out there, Rachel Leichman, yeah, I said it.
No, she's a dumb cunt. There's a difference. She's she is an idiot though. She's so dumb. She bashes white men, and she works for one. Mary Sue's owned by who is it? You looked it up, Rob. Who
Yeah,
Mary
look up.
Sue?
Yeah, some guy. I can't remember it offhand, but
Owned
like
by
that.
the LGBT 1000. That's it.
Feminine, women's rights. Yeah, you owe your job to a man, honey. Okay.
It can morph between male and female.
Patriarchy. Down with the patriarchy. Gosh, shut up. You and your special ed, they're alien or whatever it is. Yay! I'm in the Star Wars. Yay!
Tell me it doesn't look like the worm from Labyrinth.
Well, the other one does more. This is the actual worm one does.
Yeah, I thought they were the same damn character. They look too much alike, JJ. Come on now. Anyway.
JJ needed an alien for merchandising. He wants another piece of that sweet, sweet merch money.
Oh no, that's what the DO bot is for.
DO bot?
Yeah, his name is DO.
Oh, the Roomba bot.
Yeah.
With the cone on it, with the robot.
Oh, that really dumb looking bot that they show hanging out with BB-8. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
We used to get R2D2. We used to get Boba Fett. We used to get Chewbacca. Now we get the Doobot or whatever it is, and Babu Big Babu Big.
But I don't even understand that one because at least I'll say this. While not a big fan of the sequel trilogy, like any sane person, but the BB-8 is at least cute.
Yeah.
I
don't mind him so much.
Yeah, this new droid. I'm like, what is this? It looks like spare parts that.
Yeah. I said the other night, I think it was either on this show or on the council or whatever. I said BB-8 was at least practical. He made sense in a sense, like if you're going to have a droid that you need to move around a lot of places, unlike R2, because that was the problem with R2. R2 couldn't get up and down steps; they had to fake it.
Right.
Mhm.
At least with BB-8, he's pretty mobile. He can get just about anywhere. That's the only thing about him that makes sense.
As long as there's a handicap access ramp. So
Well, no, he could probably maneuver steps and other things a hell of a lot easier than 3PO even probably.
Right. And BB-8, honestly, to me, with BB-8, BB-8 felt like, to the credit of the designers, just the natural progression of the astromech droid, right? Like this is just the next model, and as opposed to this chunk of spare parts that they're showing now, it looks like, what happened? Did they just like forget how to make droids?
you let J.J. Abrams make them. That is nightmarishly horrifying.
It's just like that little Deep Roy character he added that's Scotty's buddy in the Star Trek
Right.
movie. Where did this crazy dude come from?
Oh,
Well,
go down.
Oh my god, they got a remote control DO now.
That's just their version of Alexander from Plato's Stepchildren, that Scotty was hanging out with. That's all that was.
I still don't understand. That character.
You don't need a new droid every movie. You have R2.
Right. No, I agree. I think that bringing in, I mean, it's obviously for toy sales, but bringing in a new droid. And the thing is, watch, this will probably be like that black version of BB-8 from The Last Jedi. It will be in like one shot of the movie, and they're just throwing it in the marketing to try and sell toys. And so it's not even, and same thing with this Babu Frisk, that or like the Porgs, right? They're just throwing this stuff. Yeah, they're just throwing this stuff into the marketing to get people to buy toys. But the problem is, you're not going to sell a ton of toys if you're not telling a story that people give a crap about. And that's what they really genuinely don't seem to understand, is that the first priority has to be coming up with a good story. And now I'm granted, none of us have seen episode 9 yet. It might be freaking awesome. Kind of doubt it, but it's
there's
possible.
an article if you don't want to show the video, Tom.
I was just worried about the footage.
Oh yeah.
This just looks plain and stupid. Here's
It
the
looks
thing.
like a Mystery Science Theater robot.
And I've said this, yeah, it does. I've said this before too. George, he'll make anything as long as he knows you'll buy it. You know what I mean? Like, that was half of his goal with the prequels, is make as much new shit as possible, so there was as much new product out on the shelves as possible. Mm-hmm. But one thing he never did was replace the mainstay characters. We didn't get any new, major droids in the prequels. Why? Because R2-D2 and C-3PO are already there. They're there for a reason. He's not gonna delete characters that make sense to the story.
Or C-3PO with a red arm or some crap like that.
Well, I mean, he had C-3PO stripped down to his, skivvies, but whatever, same difference. But at least, that was stupid having. I'm not even going to get into that.
But here's the thing, though: having C-3PO without his covering in the Phantom Menace actually makes a certain amount of sense, because even though I think it was stupid that Anakin built C-3PO, well, he wasn't done yet. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine, I could buy that. What I can't buy is that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, C-3PO has a red arm. There's no explanation except for C-3PO going, oh, look, I have a red arm. And it's like, did you even really need that line? Like, we couldn't figure out he had a red arm? And then by the end of the movie, he doesn't have the red arm. So who cares? What was the point? It just, that's what infuriates me about it, is that it's not, because George Lucas, yes, he was always about marketing, right? When he first negotiated the deal with 20th Century Fox, it was like, yeah, I get to keep the marketing rights, and he was smart for doing that. He knew that that's what the money was going to be. But at least the things they were selling, if they were in the movie, it made sense that they were in the movie. They weren't thrown in the movie just to sell toys and no other reason. Like the Jawas were cute, and the Jawas were obviously toy bait, but at the same time, the Jawas served a poor purpose in the story.
Well, not only that, actually, I don't even know if he really thought of toys at first. Because I've heard him say the whole reason he was worried about getting merchandising is because he thought the studio wasn't going to promote the film, which is kind of true. So he's like, at least I can do is make T-shirts and posters and promote this movie. You know, that was his first goal because the toys came in a little later, and I don't think he even expected that shit to happen.
You notice have you noticed the Mary Sue is actually they're hiding the comments section now.
Yeah.
They don't want any. Yeah. God forbid they hey, you're paying. I don't know if you're paying to hook into that Discus account. Look at that Discus Discuss account, whatever it is. But God forbid people should disagree with you.
Well, you're not allowed to disagree with the Mary Sue because
because then you're a sexist man baby.
Well, you're obviously a woman hating, just you're just the worst kind of person.
Oh.
And by the way, I gotta say, while normally he doesn't get into commentary type stuff, have any of you guys seen the video that Jeremy Johns put out about the George Lucas betrayal thing?
No, I haven't.
It is actually really good, and Jeremy Johns, surprisingly, because I like him, he's got a good personality, but he usually doesn't get into the controversial stuff, and he flat out nailed it as far as what they were thinking as far as making these movies critic proof. And like, oh yes, we'll just call them a bunch of woman haters. And the way if you check out his video on it, because the way he does it is really good.
Well, that is the thing. I mean, that is the way they're making these movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all it takes, like, you put a token female in or whatever, person of color, quadriplegic Asian, little person. Polyamorous little person, whatever it is, and then you got all the bases covered. All that needs to happen now is chop a few limbs off of Rose Tico and give her a girlfriend and a husband.
Yeah, well, that'll happen probably. Of course, we know that there's going to be the Finn Poe thing. That's we were still waiting for that.
Yeah.
Remember how that was a big rumor for a long time, and it's like, why? That's all I wanted to know.
It was over that jacket. It was over the entire. Okay, this also goes to that It situation. Mm-hmm. I love the gay community. Don't get me wrong, but they love to thrust identity onto characters that isn't there, and then they get pissed when it doesn't happen or something that the character does pisses them off. That's what happened with this whole It thing. Because remember, everybody was up in arms about the whole opening with the gay guys getting beat up and. Him making fun of a gay character within the movie itself. They're like, oh, we thought you were on our side. It's like, you guys created that crap in your head. It wasn't there. Same thing with this Poe and Finn crap. It wasn't there. He just gave the guy his jacket. Right. Rob, I remember we went off, I don't know how many times back in the day.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, what the jacket thing, to me, what it's, and maybe I'm just crazy or something, but it seemed to represent to me that he was trying to get Finn to join the resistance.
Yeah.
And that's all it was is that, oh yeah, hey, it looks good on you. You should be one of us.
Mm-hmm.
That's the feeling I got, not some weird romantic thing. That doesn't even make sense.
No, they were supposed to be just friends. I mean, this whole romanticizing. One of the things that I hate about modern geek culture is that they like to ship and romanticize and make the characters make out with each other instead of, being attracted to or fantasizing about the actors or characters on screen like we would back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They have no. It's like they're a bunch of children. It's like they're a bunch of 7-year-olds.
Mm-hmm. Now, back in the day, when the girls used to scream for the Beatles, they would imagine themselves with the Beatles. Now, most of the social justice crowd would scream for John to be hooking up with George or Ringo.
It's true.
It's
Well, and not only that, I don't want to get into this. Never mind. I'm not even going to go there.
Go there. Fuck,
No,
sure.
no. Well,
Finn, the Star Wars janitor.
it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, other than
Does that make Finn Stanley Spadowski?
it's not as good as my old mop, but it's a good mop. Ray gave me a new mop.
Who gets to drink from the fire hose?
Captain Hair, $2. I ship Doomcock and Andre. That's fair. Can't get around that helmet.
Uh,
Oh, I like my mop.
Stanley. That is a
Oh man, that movie's a classic.
I know we watched that for watch party.
Yeah, watch party. Yeah, don't touch that channel. Don't touch that.
What was the thing I linked you? Oh, they have Terminator 1 in free to watch.
Yeah, they've had that for a while too. Yeah,
Okay.
we've also got to do Monty Python as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh god, Holy Grail or something. Yeah.
Life of
Well,
Brian? and Holy
Life
Grail.
of Brian. Love that one too.
He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
I
All right.
have an opera version of that.
Spam
Like, well, it's kind of like that, but it's like an opera. Like they don't act it out or nothing. They just sing this like in operatic form.
Mm.
It's real weird, but it's Monty Python. I don't know.
All right, get that thing off the screen, Tom. I'm sick of looking at it.
Yeah, really. That thing is kind of, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
It looks like a growth I had removed last year. I just, it's like,
It's like a cross between a Pekingese and I'm not sure what, like mentally handicapped kid with the helmet. You know,
that's just wrong.
it is wrong. Remember Clerks, the animated series? The helmet. Oh, the helmet.
The kid in the helmet.
Yeah. So anyway,
I bought these fireworks from that kid in the helmet.
oh, the kid in the helmet. All right. Captain April says you'll finally be able to stay awake in the entire Monty Python movie. What else we got here to talk about, Tom?
I have no idea.
Well,
Well, there's the rumor that Gal Gadot's going to be in Star Wars, and that Tom Holland actually got Spider-Man back.
Oh yeah. There was that. Remember last week when I said that it was kind of weird that they announced the director for Uncharted like the day after the same day that they announced the Spider-Man deal was back on. Yeah, Mecca found an article where they say that that was the case. Tom Holland was playing hardball over the Uncharted movie to get Sony to get their ass in gear and make a deal with Disney. I'm sure that wasn't the only factor, but one of the main factors.
Wait, now let me ask you, because I've heard that they were working on a Uncharted film that was in development, but is Tom Holland involved in that project?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is he going to be in it? Is he or is he like producing or something?
No, he's supposed to be the main character. What's his name?
Nathan Drake.
He's going to be Nathan Drake,
He's
really?
a little young to be Nathan Drake. but-
Yeah, I love Tom Holland, but yeah, Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, that seems all wrong to me.
Unless they're
Like-
doing like a really early prequel and want to keep him around for many,
That's what
many
I'm
years
saying.
to come.
Yeah, they're figuring on him growing into the part kind of thing.
Yeah, but
How much more can the kid grow?
yeah, because Nathan Drake, I mean, like Nathan Drake's character is based on Nathan Fillion. I mean, that's
Mhm.
and so to put Tom Holland in there, I don't know. But I love Tom Holland.
Mhm.
But-
He's Nathan Fillion. He's Nathan Fillion if written into a Clive Cussler novel.
Yes,
That's
Well, the problem
And
is,
actually,
Nathan Fillion is too old to start like a trilogy with.
well, yeah. I'm not saying Nathan Fillion would be a good man. If I was going to cast Drake right now, I would probably be looking like Chris Pratt, someone like that. But and like I could see where Tom Holland maybe in 10 years where it might be good, but right now, just no way.
that's how long it's going to take to get the movie made.
Yeah, probably.
Well, that's the thing. It's going to probably take another year and a half or so just to get this movie made. He'll probably bulk up a little bit more than he does. Who knows? But that's the case anyway. At least it sounds like it from this article. So I was right. No, I just kind of figured it made sense. If he's going to pull his weight around, he's getting to that point where he's done enough movies. He probably could.
Yeah. Well, good
Yeah.
for him, though. I'll say this: if Tom Holland is using his star power to force Sony to play nice with Marvel, my respect level for Holland just went up about 10 times. Because I already love the kid, but the fact that he cares about not just his career, but the integrity of Spider-Man. Because let's be real, he'd be making the Spider-Man movie over at Sony and getting paid regardless of how Sony and Marvel get along. But I think he knows, and just listening to him, like I assume you guys have seen, like if you look at the DVD extras and stuff of him doing all the stuff with the Avengers, how he really gets it and how excited he is just to be a part of this. So I absolutely love that. To me, it's kind of like he kind of is reminding me then of like Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool. It's like, no, you're gonna do this right, or I walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and I think he is going to be one of the up and comers like this. Like he's already technically an A-lister, but I mean,
Right.
yeah, he's still kind of a kid yet too, you know. But look at somebody like Leonardo DiCaprio. Love him or hate him, he went from a child actor to the biggest actor on the planet.
Right.
Like there's
he's
nothing about who he is. Every movie he does pretty much is a hit. You know, he's very picky about what he does. I'm sure he can pretty much do whatever he wants in Hollywood. So
no. To me, he's still the kid from Growing Pains. I mean, that's...
I know, but that's the thing. You and I see him as that, but you realize that this is Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Like he can pretty much do whatever the fuck he wants.
Right.
Every movie he does has been a big hit.
My biggest problem with Leonardo DiCaprio, he's a good actor, but he doesn't. You try to make him, you try to put him in all these roles. All I see is Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, he is.
I had the same problem. Have you seen Departed though?
No.
I heard it's good.
That changed my view on him. Even though I still say to this day they should have flip-flopped his character with Matt Damon's. That was the movie that really kind of turned me on him a little bit. And then Wolf of Wall Street, I was sold. I'm like, all right, this guy, he won me over. I can't deny that he's a decent actor.
Yeah.
Well, I only saw him in like indie stuff back in the early days, like the Basketball Diaries and
that's what he did.
This Boy's Life.
Yeah, he went instead of doing. He could have probably done a bunch of big ass movies when he was a kid, but he honed his
skills. Yeah, he was working with like De Niro when he was a teenager. So I mean, you gotta give him some credit as like at least having his acting chops down. Because it's not like he's not like a Brie Larson who makes one movie, gets an Oscar right away, and then all of a sudden is like, I'm going to be the biggest popcorn star. No, he does like worthy movies. He does Oscar movies.
Hey. How dare you? How dare you say anything bad about Brie Larson? Because, she doesn't need, 40-year-old white guys talking about a movie that she had nothing to do with. And
don't forget that Mecca's not a 40-year-old white dude.
So. No, she is, because she's part of the Phantom Menace, and the Phantom Menace is entirely 40-year-old white guys.
Right.
Right. You're right. I'm wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, but no, look at it. It's kind of ironic because Leo almost did play Spider-Man for James Cameron way back when.
Way back, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a really good, I don't know. I think that's a good example of what he could do with his career if he stays on this trajectory and, just pays attention to how he acts out in public. And everybody loves him. He's adorable. Like adorable, is that the word that everybody, because he's the big.
My wife when talking about Tom Holland, the word adorable always comes out of her mouth. So
yeah, he is. I really like him as Spider-Man. I think he's probably the best one. I mean, he's really good. So is Tobey Maguire, but I like him a little better than Tobey Maguire, I think.
He's a good kid. That's what I would. I like that. He's a good kid. Yeah.
Like a future ahead of him. If he keeps, he keeps it up, he's gonna be all right.
But you can't say though that when they were on Titan. And he was like, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. You're like, oh no. You're like,
if I didn't know it wasn't going to be like fixed, that would have got me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. That scene, that was, that was gut wrenching. And I think part of it though, for me, is that watching that scene, it's like, I'm close to Robert Downey Jr.'s age, and my son was close to Tom Holland's age, and it's like, So
And then Tony comes back to Earth.
oh, I lost the kid.
I
Oh,
lost the kid, yeah, and you could tell like it was like it was oh god, it was I lost the kid. And for all the people who say, "Oh, it's Spider Boy, Iron Boy Jr." I'm like, you're right, because it's Tony Stark is a father figure to him,
right. And there's nothing wrong with that. What that's the thing. Why are people getting upset about the fact that it's actually really good storytelling?
Yeah, well, because they want everything to be the Punisher, or they want everything to be Batman, where everybody's a badass. I'm like, no.
I don't mind people feeling that way. That you're totally obviously you have the right to feel that way. I'm not going to stop you, but
sure.
I understand that argument. But if you're also going to be one of those people who sticks up for Spider-Verse, then that argument holds no water with me, because the Spider-Verse is 10 times more everything that's wrong with what could go wrong with Spider-Man, in my opinion. And Rob agrees, but it just
we're the only two people who agree.
Well, and Mark Oquist says no respect for Uncle Ben. I don't think it's so much that as he's in the movie. They do mention him. He uses Uncle Ben's briefcase or whatever.
Yeah, and Far From
They
Home.
don't need to dwell on it. It's something we've seen a million. Just like the Waynes dying every damn time they make a Batman movie.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the fact that they were able to tell Spider-Man's story, keep it to the same core values that Spider-Man has always had without Uncle Ben. I thought that was beautiful that they managed to pull that off.
Well, how many times do you need to see that? It's like even with the Waynes, they hate the Waynes so much they killed him twice in the original Batman series. Like they showed him dying not only in the first one but the third one too, I think. So you can't not only once but twice. Captain Hare, another super chat. And remember, folks, if you do send in a super chat, you could what, Rob?
You can win Tom stuff.
That's right. Well, we'll go with that one. We didn't have it queued up.
Well, I don't have the short version. I tried making a short version, but freaking Mixcraft was being temperamental with me.
$5. Just use Audacity. $5 from Captain Hare. Kevin Feige, Star Wars, Sith Lord Brie Larson versus Jedi Knight Tom Holland. The only acceptable way to involve Brie Larson. I don't want to see them two together. She don't deserve him. She don't deserve my man.
Brie and Tom?
I'm kidding. I don't think he'd act fucking circles around her ass. He'd make her real bad.
Well, actually, I'll say this, and I know that Brie gets a lot of flack from us, and deservedly so. But at the same time, put a good director there, and Brie can act. It's just that, with Captain Marvel, I mean, it was intentional that she was bland and emotionless, and that was a really bad call. But now I do think that because Brie just exacerbated it with her whole shenanigans about her SJW crap. But the bottom line is, it's not that Brie is incapable of playing the part. It's just that they wanted her. They're trapped in this stupid Hollywood myth that a strong woman needs to not have emotion, because somehow being an emotional woman makes you weak. And that's exactly the opposite of why, when we were talking earlier, Sarah Connor and Ellen Ripley, their emotions are what drove them to being badasses.
Mm-hmm.
And so you take the emotion away from a female character to try and make them tough, because you're basically just trying to make them into your typical male action hero who will pull the trigger, blowing someone's head off without even flinching. That doesn't work for a female character, and quite frankly, I think most of the time it's stupid for male characters too. But but it really doesn't work for a female character, because that's not how women are wired. I mean, I'm sorry, I know it's horrible to say that there are differences between men and women, but there are.
But there are.
Yeah.
But there are.
Are you assuming genderisms?
Yes, because I'm assuming that you know what? Here's the thing. People argue all the time that race is a made-up concept. And technically that's true, because, it's not like there really are different races of human
race.
Yeah, there are variations in skin tone, and people in certain areas tend to have certain variations in common because it's advantageous for that region. And so, but we invented the concept of race, right? There's not really a distinct race called Caucasians or, any other group.
Well, it's true. You could sit there every time you see a different dog, go, well, that's a different race of dog than that dog.
Right.
You got to put there.
But gender is real, folks. Gender is real in in humans and in the bulk of the the larger than single-celled organism animal kingdom, right? The gender is a advantageous part of anatomy because it allows for more mutation and thus faster evolution for a species. And so if you don't have gender, if everything is a single celled or reproduces asexually, you're basically just a cloning factory. And so you don't get as much variation. You don't get as much evolution. And so to deny that is stupid. And besides that, yes, men and women are wired differently, but that's because we're designed to do different things, women are designed to, basically be able to be a production facility for the next generation. That is incredible. And men are basically designed to defend that, and that's why they have a physical advantage as far as size and strength. But women actually have a much better level of endurance and tolerance of pain, and for good reason, and so, but we can't talk about that because that's sexist to actually recognize that there are differences other than one has boobs and the other doesn't.
Well, that kind of goes with what I was going to bring up earlier, and I stopped myself because I always see these articles and they just drive me nuts where it's like, it's discrimination for cis straight males not to want to be with a transvestite or a transsexual or whatever. It's like, you just said it yourself. I'm supposed to be a cis male, it's like from my perspective, meaning I'm straight. I don't want anything but a good old natural woman.
Right.
Why is that so difficult for anybody to believe? They're trying to push this thing like a transsexual woman is the same as a regular woman. I'm sorry, you can say that all you want, but this goes back to like the South Park episode and the Dave Chappelle thing with I want to identify as a Chinese man. It's like the South Park episode where Kyle's dad decides he wants to be a dolphin.
Right.
Like identifies it, and then Kyle decides he wants to be a basketball player. And all that kind of crap. It's like there's only so far you can take it before it's like you start to wonder how much of this is a mental thing and how much of it is
all of it.
I know it is, but
all of it. It's in your brain chemistry. It's in your brain. All of it is a mental thing.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm not trying to deny anybody. You want to go get an operation that makes you feel more like a man, that's fine. But don't sit there and get pissy because cis white males don't want to take you to the fucking movie.
No, it's because you have a weird operation and you have mutilated genitals because you've had them operated on. Just put it that way. And you have some mental issues. That would be the reason why I probably personally wouldn't date a trans person, because I would feel walking on eggshells. Because it has nothing to do with any, and I'm not against it at all. If you want to do you, have fun, be happy. But I don't want the baggage. I don't want to deal with the emotional baggage of somebody who is not comfortable in their own skin and has had years and years and years of that in their brain chemistry, people where they feel weird and feel wrong, and they might have been rejected by family, and they may have issues with other partners, and they might be on edge like the, it's Ma'am, like the GameStop one.
Oh man, that was hilarious.
Yeah, be like somebody who just is on their last final straw. Meanwhile, you've never met them before. So that's what I don't want to deal with. And I think it's perfectly reasonable to not want to deal with that type of thing.
Well, and here's my thing. And I know that saying this is unpopular in it's not because, I don't know, people are idiots. But the sickest thing to me about our society right now when it comes to these types of issues, besides the outright denial of the fact that there are differences between men and women and that kind of thing, is this idea that, okay, you have a delusion that you are not what you are, right? So you're, you just because, you happen to be a male, but you have this delusion in your head that you are a female. And the psychiatric community, the mental health community, what their job is, the reason they exist is so that they can work with you and help you overcome that delusion and accept yourself for who you are. And the funny thing is, how many times have these wonderful SJW liberals put out like children's specials and stuff that say, oh, just, you need to be happy with who you are and just accept it. But if you don't think you're the gender you were born, lop that one piece off, glue this other piece on, and we'll pretend that changes your gender. And we're actually encouraging people to mutilate themselves in order to live a fantasy.
Mm-hmm. What if you identify as a thin person, and the only way to do that is to lop off giant chunks of fat off of your ass, right? But the message I always got was I'm supposed to be happy and not body shame myself, right? I'm not supposed to be
But you're
unhappy.
genital shaming if you're because you're basically just saying, oh no, it's not okay to be female if you'd rather be male.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, or how about this? How about you just accept who you are and try to be the best of whatever you are that there is,
Mm-hmm.
This kind of goes into our next story here. I mean, granted, we've heard it and said it a million times, and it's true. There's 9 times out of 10 behind every great man, there's a great woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we're led to believe that about Star Wars, of course. According to this story here, I don't know how much legitimacy there is to this. Talked about to death on the internet. Not to get back on Star Wars again, but
Well,
why
it's
not?
canon in the comic books. But here's the thing. All right, here's the thing. So you're telling me that you're retconning Star Wars so that it is not white man bad. It is white woman is the most evil, worst, horrific person in the entire Star Wars galaxy and responsible for the deaths of millions and millions and millions of people. So, thanks, Kathleen Kennedy. Great message about feminism, you dumb bitch, letting this one
You don't
slide.
think about that thing.
Random, how dare you take my message like that?
Hey, you're the one who's dumb enough to put it out there and let it in your comics, you dumb bitch. I can't help it, Kathy.
You are a sexist, homophobic, racist person, Becca. I will not take this. I'm going to
Yeah.
Jones next.
Yes,
It's
so
the same
homophobic
thing
have gone
like,
down on women.
It's the same thing like Sarah Connor. They didn't stop to think that to be able to perpetuate this propaganda story they wanted to do with the Terminator, is to make Sarah Connor a failure.
Mhm.
Well, here's the same kind of thing here. They weren't thinking of it from the angle Mecca just brought up. No. They were thinking of it from the angle of we get to make Palpatine look like an incompetent boob. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Right. I was talking to Mrs. Antichecker about this today, and yeah, it's basically okay. You've neutered every major male character except for Lando, but we know they're going to do something. Well, they did the whole
They did Pando.
Well, I mean, yeah, they did the whole he likes to have sex with robots, but they haven't completely ruined his character. But wait till episode 9 comes out. But now they want to go so far as to say, well, wait a minute, Palpatine was the ultimate big bad because he was so skilled, so manipulative, so intelligent, and so how do we screw that up so that we can make sure that, men are incompetent for both good and evil? I mean, they've already shown incompetent men from the First Order. I mean, look at Hux. What a joke is that? Kylo Ren. What really? The only interesting male character in the First Order you developed was Snoke. And then, of course, let's cut him in half. Why not? So now what we got to do? Well, let's go back and retcon Palpatine to just be the subservient to some woman because why not?
Please, honey, just let me build one more Death Star.
Yeah.
I promise this one won't get
That's
blown.
right, Anti-Shaka. Why not? I'm going to ruin everything you love in the name of fairness. That's right. Oh, don't you know the Force is female?
And that's the funny thing is that I actually did a video, probably about a year ago, basically speculating that the ultimate answer to all the craziness that we've seen is that the Force literally is female. Because that would explain a lot of this. That would explain why Rey, the first female Force user that we've really focused on, is so much better than everybody else because the Force is female, so it identifies with Rey. You know,
Mhm.
and so that would actually make sense. And so, yeah, I think Kathleen Kennedy's forces female thing, that they may actually be taking that literally.
Dash fat bastard. Are you doing Katharine Hepburn? Yeah. You ever hear the way Kathleen Kennedy talks? Yeah.
Mhm.
She's I'm exaggerating, but the force is she-male. Yeah.
Actually, she's got a pretty normal voice. The problem is she's just so full of herself. Like, go watch that Fortune interview with her, where she talks about being a football star in high school and how she was this big, great camera operator for, this, that, and the other. And yeah,
And her first job was she was an affirmative action hire.
somebody can find the footage of her getting knocked on her ass at that football game. I'd love to see that.
That had to be what, the 1970s?
She says it in the interview. She was one of the audio people for the football games for the station there.
Oh,
And she got pile drived by one of the football players or whatever. Anyway,
to YouTube.
See, and then they wonder why women don't want to do those jobs because they don't want to get knocked on their fucking ass. You're stupid, Kathleen Kennedy. You're really, really stupid. Women don't want those jobs. That's why there's no women doing them.
She finds out, and she thinks it's such a great thing too, because she's like, "Yeah, I found out I got the job because I'm a woman, and they've been keeping their eye on me this whole time, and I was doing such a great job, and blah 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 blah." And it's like, grand. So you got another thing in your life you didn't fucking earn.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I earned everything. Don't you know I can get coffee better than anybody?
Yeah, she played football.
I think I'm better at getting coffee than Kathy.
She was the quarterback of her 8th grade team.
Of her
And by
5th
getting
grade
coffee,
team?
I mean head. What?
8th grade.
Oh yeah, 8th grade. Yeah, there you go. Back when
And I would have assumed it would have been like a powder puff girl football thing, but I think she does mention something about playing with the guys and stuff. So I guess, and which is funny because you would think if a girl was playing on a football team at that point, it would have made like headlines everywhere. There would have been movies made about it.
Especially like that was probably the early 1960s too, because she's
late, if
she's
not
70.
Yeah. I think honestly, I'm going to call complete BS on her on this because given her age and everything, I say there is no way in hell she played football with men in anything other than a friendly game that was not part of any kind of organized sports.
From the proper perspective though either.
Well, Ethel Kennedy played football with the rest of the Kennedys at the compound. I mean, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if she was
with
playing
the real Kennedys,
if she was playing football with her family or something or whatever, yeah, sure. But if she was actually playing 8th grade football with as an organized sport put on by the school system with boys in the 60s, maybe the 70s, no. I'm sorry. No, that is a complete and utter lie because it would have been all over everybody would have known about it.
That's what I was.
I said it happened and therefore it happened. If you don't believe me, you're a racist, sexist, homophobic, toxic white male anti-trucker.
Well, looking at it from the proper perspective, her parents probably made it happen, and she probably really wasn't on the team. They just probably let her practice and stuff. Right. In her mind, she was a quarterback, so the star, Anyway, Rob, there's a super chat here from Dash Fat Bastard.
$2 from Dash Fat Bastard. Your name goes up on the wheel. Now do Hepburn in On Golden Pond. Well, no, man, you just bend over and pick up strawberries. Yeah, I remember the porn version On Golden Blonde. Oh, but that's a different movie. All right.
So this thing, and it's like, I just can't buy this that there was somebody pulling the strings behind Palpatine the whole time. I can't.
No, that's the thing. That is such a bad retcon. I mean, that's the worst kind of retcon because it makes no sense. Especially if you're making a big deal out of bringing Palpatine back. Why would you want to ruin it?
Because why the hell not? You've ruined everything else at this point with Star Wars on it.
The heck was that?
Yeah.
He was right.
That's the thing. They are ruining everything Star Wars. Like, no matter what it is, they just cannot wait to get their little hands on it and destroy it.
But I'm genuinely at a loss as to why are they. I mean, it really needs to be intentional at this point. I mean, they can't be completely ignorant as to how badly they're going to kill this franchise. You know, they've got to know that the fans are not going to be happy with all this.
Well, they don't care because
they
they'll
know.
see it anyway.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see it anyway because we have to. And
Well, they got to make sure that we see him not only kick it while it's down, but kill it, slowly, and then piss on the corpse.
Well, you put it that way, it just sounds
It's-
so nice.
But it's true. That's what they're doing at this point.
Right. And that's it. But it just doesn't make sense. There's no logical reason for it because it's just a scorched earth policy at this point. You're pissy about the fact that men had a franchise that was successful, so you just want to ruin it because you don't like men enjoying something.
just to be bullies,
it is.
just to throw it out of your hand and break it so you can't have it.
Right.
I think we got a new name for the wheel, Rob.
What's the new name for the wheel? David Morris, 2 pounds. What did everyone make of the Dark Crystal series? I have not seen it, David Morris. And your name goes up on the wheel.
Still 3 episodes in. I haven't finished it.
I have not seen it.
That's the problem. It's just so long. I haven't been
Yeah.
able to set aside time to watch it, but I'm hoping to soon. It is on my list of things to do. So
Yeah, I'm liking what I've seen, but I just don't have time to watch it.
Like I said, the other thing. $5 super chat, Nelson Chiretta. So they bring back a popular character from the original trilogy just to emasculate him. Where have I seen this before? Yeah. That's the MO. That is the MO. That is the MO so far. You bring back popular characters to knock them down, and so you can build up new characters.
Right. But it doesn't serve a practical purpose. That's the other than to unless the destruction of the franchise is your goal, which I'm not ruling that out, of course, but I'm just saying unless that is quite literally what Kathleen Kennedy and company want to do. They want Star Wars to fall apart and fail miserably. Other than that, there's no practical reason why you would bring in, like, why bring Han Solo into The Force Awakens and then do what they do? Why bring Luke into The Last Jedi and then do what you do? And of course, we're all expecting something similar with Lando.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, I saw him in the ship. You know he's going to be fucking it.
yeah, probably. He's gonna be like, "Oh, baby, I forgot about this navigation system. I'll be right back." You know, it's like, oh.
45.
Dick out of the tailpipe, Lando.
We got another $1 super chat.
Yeah, put the names on the wheel, Rob.
Deranged lunatic.
Deranged.
No metrics. All right, your name goes up on the wheel. Actually, got quite a few names go on the wheel.
Let's remind people what they're playing, what's going on here for those who come in late. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Rob?
Yes. What's going on here is you have a chance tonight to win Tom stuff. The rules are that if you make a super chat, your name goes up on the wheel. Let me just get a shot of the wheel so far. And the idea is behind the super chats, we are trying to cover the cost of shipping. Our goal is not to make money on this. Like I said, we are just trying to cover the cost of shipping. And if you're from outside the United States, it might take a little longer to get you. But given the nature of some of the prices, we may have a substitute price for you. Just because DVDs and Blu-rays tend to be region locked, and we want your price to work when it arrives. So, Tom, tell them what we have for them tonight.
Well, I'm going to put together a package of a couple CDs, so anybody should be able to play these. But the main attraction of these CDs is the limited edition, archive edition of Gremlins soundtrack, which features the original soundtrack from 1984 plus the entire score for the first time by Jerry Goldsmith. So it's actually not a cheap CD. So
And that is actually quite a nice package there, right there.
Well, thank you. I mean, yeah.
Looking at it, Rob.
But I was about to say, so anyway, like I said, if you make a super chat, your name goes up on the wheel. Your name does not go on the wheel if you make more than one super chat. That is the caveat to that. So $2 from Wesley Crusher. What is the wheel? I want to own the wheel. Unfortunately, the wheel doesn't exist in real space or time. It exists on the net. So your name goes up on the wheel. Thank you, Wesley Crusher.
Cha-chings there, buddy, but it's all right. I should be doing them since you're doing other stuff.
But I was saying though, I said last week, I don't know if you heard any of this, Anti-Trekker, but I was saying last week, and Matt Kadish was on. What is the other franchise that Lucasfilm owns besides Star Wars? I mentioned it. I just mentioned it a couple minutes ago.
You did? What? Not Gremlins?
No, not Gremlins. No.
I know like they're partners with the Indiana Jones franchise.
Yeah, Lucasfilm is technically they own Indiana Jones.
Right. Is that what you were talking about, or is there something else? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I said last week, now this is just me. I have no proof of this, but my gut tells me that Indiana Jones, you have a franchise with a main character who is a white male fighting the whitest of white males in a time where, I'm sorry, but the main character has to be white, has to be a white male, just because there's no way to disguise him as a Nazi if he is not.
Oh no, they'll retcon it so that Nazis were women, and there were black Nazis too, of course. Yeah. And, because we all know that the Nazis, granted, with the exception of the Jews, the Nazis were known as being a very tolerant people.
Yeah. But my point was, you don't, come on, when Kathleen Kennedy moved into her office at Lucasfilm, you don't think she took a look at what the properties, and she got to Indiana Jones and she said, I don't know what to do with this. I really don't. She was trying to get her greasy little mitts on it. And change it. Oh yeah. And if she really wanted to, she could have said to Spielberg and Lucas, because Spielberg and Lucas, they're really kind of in the driver's seat of Indiana Jones. She could have very well said, "Hey George, Steven, we would like to do a new Indiana Jones movie. Can you come up with something? Get back to me maybe 6 months. See what you got." Oh yeah, sure, no problem. You really don't think she could have said that to him? It's been how long? She bought Star Wars Lucas. They bought Star Wars and Lucasfilm in 2012. It's been 7 years. We haven't gotten a sniff of anything related to Indiana Jones. Just some rumors.
Well, of course not.
No, like I said, because it's
that's not true. They've been writing it, and there's been stuff going on. But I mean, I don't agree with your assessment outside of there hasn't been any Indiana Jones like merchandise, which is really strange.
Yeah, because it's the epitome of toxic masculinity in her eyes. That's not me. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. That she looks at this franchise and she's probably saying, "This is problematic. I don't know what to do with this. I'm gonna catch a lot of heat from the Me Too people, from the Twitterati."
I would not be surprised if that's why we haven't seen anything coming from Indiana Jones, because and it's the same thing. Like, look at the people that are actually having the idiocy to try and suggest that, we need a female James Bond, right?
Yeah,
and it's like, why do we need a female of a male character? I mean, it's one. If you like, for example, when Judi Dench was cast as the replacement for M, nobody blinked at that, right? Nobody gave a crap because they knew M is just a title. And they also knew that Judi Dench is a damn good actor. And they also knew that, they were trying to just, write into the universe that M had to be replaced, because I remember the first time Judi Dench's M showed up, and she was in her office, and Pierce Brosnan looked at her, and she said something to him. He's like, "Well, your predecessor kept a bottle of, she goes, no, thank you. I prefer bourbon. And then she pulls out a bottle of her own. And it's like, okay, and so they actually made it in universe and it made sense. Nobody cared about that, but you don't change the gender of a specific character. You don't. James Bond is James Bond, not Jane Bond, right? And don't give me some crap. Well, it'll be a woman named James, just like Michael Burnham or some crap like that. Because no, that James Bond being a male is a part of his character. It's always been a part of his character. M's sexuality is unimportant. James's sexuality is a big part of the mythos of 007.
Fatal J, $2 super chat. Finish this sentence. Alien. Donkey.
Brie Larson.
But I don't know if you've ever seen it on my I have on my own channel, Anti-Tracker, but I have a whole 12-minute video thoroughly debunking the James Bond codename theory. And it seems as though that they're doing a lot of this stuff for the non-fans, because it's all of the non-fans who are the ones that are suggesting a lot of these changes. And the people who run these franchises, they're making these changes thinking that the non-fans are suddenly going to wake up one morning and say, I got to see me a James Bond movie. I got to see a Star Wars movie. No, if you're not interested before, I'm not saying that a non-fan can't become a fan.
Right. But it's not going to. Well, the thing is that the people that are excited about this stuff, right? The people that are genuinely excited about the LGBT 2000, or people that are excited about Brie Larson's nonsense that she likes to say about white men and all that crap. They are not going to see these movies. They do not care about freaking action movies or superheroes. And so they're too busy watching, whatever movies come out in November and December that are Oscar bait. That's all they're going to watch. And so, you're basically pissing away your franchise to try and get a segment that's not interested in your work to come see your movie.
Mecca, remember that thing on the Mary Sue?
Oh, and they're like, yeah, I haven't seen Captain Marvel, but yeah.
I haven't seen it, but
yes.
You don't know how
here's what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know how many times I see non-James Bond fans on Twitter or on Facebook on these various movie groups. There's been a few on the Midnight's Edge group. Oh, I'm not a Bond fan, but they should kill Bond off in the first 10 minutes of the next movie and then replace them.
If you're not a Bond fan, then, maybe mind your own fucking business and shut the hell up about it and leave it to the people who are. I'm not the hugest Bond fan, but I don't want to change the movies because, I understand why people like them, and I've seen them from time to time. I've seen probably more of them than a lot of the superhero movies because there's so many more of them. But, I there's nothing wrong with them in the way they are. I just really never got super into them, but I'll watch them if they're on.
Right,
well,
but
let me
expect them to turn around and change the franchise to appeal to you specifically more, and that's what these people are doing.
Exactly. Right. It's I don't want you to change it and have a woman Bond. I'm not going to watch that. That's not interesting to me. And you need to go back to a sexy Bond because I don't want to look at a guy who looks like he's been beaten up a few times after football riots. Sorry, Daniel Craig's not attractive. He's ugly Bond. That's the biggest problem with Bond.
I'll tell you, my wife will say this about Daniel Craig. She says, he's not particularly attractive for the actors that have played Bond, but she finds him sexy because of the way he plays the part.
Yeah.
And so, but here's my thing though. Everybody has their things. My wife loves, her big guilty pleasure is she likes Jane Austen, right? So, and so that's fine. I don't particularly care for Jane Austen, never did. And, they've made about 17,000 Pride and Prejudice films.
Oh, yeah, right? Including the one with zombies, which is terrible. The book was okay, but...
But here's my thing. Elizabeth Bennet is the main character of Pride and Prejudice. I have never nor will I ever suggest that, oh, I don't know, Robert Downey Jr. should play Elizabeth Bennet, or Arnold Schwarzenegger should play.
Tom Holland would be age appropriate.
Well, okay, so Tom Holland. I'm not gonna suggest that, because except for the fact that I happened to look up the IMDb page, I didn't even know the character's name. I don't give a crap. I saw it like once, one of the versions of it once many years ago, and promptly forgot about it because it's not my thing. So I'm not going to sit there and tell the millions of mostly women who love Pride and Prejudice that, no, you need to stop making this about the Bennett sisters and make it about the Bennett bros, because that's how you make it better and you can improve your audience. No, that's not what that franchise is. That's not what Jane Austen was about. And so I'm not going to try to ruin it for millions of women that appreciate it for what it is.
They're going to trump it on you. You know what I mean? And
What they did was they did ruin it.
They'll do it again, and they'll do it with gay men. That's how
they did ruin it though already. Like they took some of the charm and the appeal when they did the Pride and Prejudice and Zombies one. It's basically Pride and Prejudice and there's zombies attacking.
Yeah, I actually did see that one with the wife, and she said that the Pride and Prejudice stuff wasn't too far off.
They fucked it up from the book though, because if you read the book, some of the charm of the book was that when they were training, they would use a modesty loop so the skirt didn't fly up. And what do you see in the trailer? They're putting on stockings and garters, and you see them basically out like hussies. And they're like, no, this is all about me. I'm female and I'm a strong, empowered woman. Like, no, that wasn't really what it was about. It was about these weird girls who ended up getting trained because they were high class, high society, but it was icky still. It was still, we have to do this. And that was the charm of the book. And when they came along and ruined it and made it all modern feminism, girl power, yay shit, that was what ruined the movie for me. And Natalie Portman, thank you very much, was to blame for that one because she produced the thing.
We got another super chat from Nightmare Gamer, $2. Thank you. Your name goes up on the wheel. A couple people saying in the chat that saying Austin would and give me some double O's teaming up with Bond. Well, but that's the thing though. You don't want Bond to be a guest star in his own movie,
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
And and the thing is,
Larry.
They've done this a few times in Bond, and it's actually when they bring in other double O's, then that other double O either needs to die in order to show the seriousness of the situation. One example would be Octopussy. The very beginning of it, I think it's 009 or something like that, gets killed. Or that double O is rogue and needs to be brought in. Think of GoldenEye or Skyfall, where you're bringing in former double O's so you show an adversary that knows everything Bond knows. But having Bond team up with someone, that's not freaking James Bond. James Bond is not a buddy cop film.
That's closer to The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
But you see, if you were doing a Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie, fine. But if you're going to do James Bond, do freaking James Bond. He doesn't have a partner. Yes, he'll occasionally have a love interest that will be with him through the entire story, but he's not a buddy cop. Sorry. I just
No, you're right.
I think one of the biggest, they said they keep trying to reinvent the wheel. I think the biggest problem with Bond, and I've tried to discuss this with Robert Meyer Burnett, and I'd love to get his opinion on it too, isn't so much Bond, it isn't so much sexism, it's Austin Powers. Because that satired and parodied a lot of the classic Bond tropes so well that I think they're afraid to go back to it.
Right.
Because a lot of directors, a lot of screenwriters are going to think, well, the audience is going to think it's stupid now. I'm like, no, it works because it works. I mean, that's the reason why I go to a Bond movie.
Right.
And
are there things that make you angry?
There are. And the thing is that the whole thing about toxic masculinity. Well, the I don't know who said this. It might have been Robert Burnett. The feminists aren't going to be the ones that are going to save the world when a madman has a nuke and he wants to deploy.
Although I'll be honest with you, that would make a hilarious movie.
That would make
to have like code name feminists and let's like have a feminist super spy agency. I think that'd be awesome.
Can we just talk about this? Maybe why do you have to be so toxic? Yeah, well, like I said, when Hugo Drax is gonna lob nerve toxin down on the earth, it's not gonna be the guy, the man with a man bun who's a freelance graphic artist.
Oh man, I'm just picturing Bond with a man bun now. That's awesome.
Do you know that's coming? You know it's coming somewhere down the line.
The name is Bun. Man bun.
Smoking weed, doing coke, drinking beers, pack her ass, my good man. Time to kick back, drink some, smoke some weed.
Yeah, but one of the
That's some good news. I'm sorry to interrupt this Bond talk.
Don doesn't know anything about James Bond, so yeah. So go ahead, interrupt right away.
Clerks 3 is finally fucking happened. Finally, Jeff Anderson got his head out of his butt and said yes. Clerks 3 is coming, folks. I hope to God this is actually the truth. We have a picture with Jeff Anderson to kind of send it home to say, yeah, it's going to happen. Mecca, I know you're probably next in line here as far as Kevin Smith fans, but I don't know.
Cut off that damn man bun.
I've seen the man bun, but yeah.
Oh God.
You don't look like a samurai. You look like a douche. Okay.
Tekkaman Bald says he must need money. Well, actually, he probably does. But the problem was before Kevin wrote Clerks 3 like almost 10 years ago, but Jeff said no, and he like did one more Hail Mary rewrite on it and thought, well, this is it. If he says yes, if not, I'm going to give up. And he must have done whatever magic he did to the script to get Jeff to say yes. So I don't know. Annie Trekker, are you a Kevin Smith Clerks universe fan at all?
Honestly, no. I've never seen any of the Clerks films. I'm nothing against them. I just never saw them.
All right. Well, as I said, Mecca's probably the next in line besides me as far as the biggest fans of the series. I don't know how many Rob has actually been seeing.
I've seen the first one.
Yeah, I like the first one.
I liked it. See the animated show. I like that.
Yeah, I like the animated one too.
Jane Silent Bob Strike Back. I like
Have you seen Clerks 2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Clerks 2 is good.
I was gonna say, yeah. Rob, you've never seen Clerks 2?
I don't think I have. I
love it. It's hilarious.
I saw parts of it on basic cable where the kid's saying Transformers are not blasphemous.
Yeah, you gotta watch it unrated. You'd like it.
There's only one return, and that's Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, that's where he's talking about the Lord of the Rings movies. They're just a bunch of fucking walking. In fact, the trees even walk in those movies.
Yeah, you'd probably like them. See, I think I just kind of, I kind of like the more Clerks ones and the less other people ones.
Dogma is still probably my favorite of the bunch. And
I'm not a big fan of Dogma. I don't know. I don't get too religious either. I like George Carlin in it, but
I'm not either. But I just like the story, and then I like the Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back movie. I really do, because that kind of brings all of them together.
Yeah, I liked it. I just don't remember it. I think I only saw it the one time or one or two times. That's the problem. Is like I never rewatch movies anymore. Like if I'm rewatching it, it's gonna be Clerks, the first one only, or the animated series.
What was the story with the animated series of Clerks? It was canceled before it went on the air?
Well, yeah, they aired it out of order, and
ABC just didn't know what the fuck to do with it.
Yeah, it should have been on Cartoon Network.
Probably, and yeah, they aired it out of order. They only got 2 episodes on the air before it got canceled, so it didn't get outright canceled. They did 6 episodes, which are out on the DVD. But yeah, they had some issues with standards and practices. They had to cut some shit out of some episodes, and they showed episode 4 and then episode 2, which if anybody knows the biggest joke in episode 2, you have to have seen episode 1 to get the joke in episode 2. And the reason why it's funny, because Annie Trecker, just to explain this to you real quick.
Mhm.
You know the famous episodes where they have the Remember the Time episodes, where they spend a whole episode trapped somewhere, and it's like a bottle episode or whatever you call them.
Right.
Go back to clips from old shows.
Right.
So the joke of this episode was they've only had one episode.
And
So
so then they do a clip show after it.
They're stuck in a situation where they have to keep remembering stuff, and outside of a few minor ones at the beginning, every memory is either of that episode or the episode before it, because they've had no other episodes to remember.
That's actually clever. I'll give them
Yeah.
that. I like that.
Oh, you'd probably dig Clerks the animated series. There's a lot of really clever jokes in that. Like the first thing you see is last week on Clerks, boo, because
there was no last week.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then like every episode they have Clerks was filmed in front of a live studio audience. Clerks was drawn by a live studio, a different joke every time. It's fucking hilarious. You probably dig it. It might even be out there on YouTube by now. I'd imagine somebody's probably got them out there, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm happy to hear that they're finally getting Clerks 3 happening. I'm looking forward to the new Jay and Silent Bob movie. I know some people are kind of touch and go with Kevin Smith, but I don't know. I've always been a fan. I can't help it.
I don't know.
I like
I'm
Kevin Smith.
still waiting for Bill and Ted 3, so we'll see what happens there.
That comes out next year. It's done filming.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the hell are they going to do.
Oh, we have a good idea, Mecca and I do, because we've been covering this since the start.
Oh, so you guys know the plot?
Pretty much, kind of.
So I assume Bill and
Yeah.
Ted are supposed to be older now.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they go by the original story that I heard about, plus the things we know, basically something happened to disrupt time
Okay.
to where they never did the album, never wrote the song that was supposed to save the universe, save the
So
galaxy.
Wild Stallions never accomplished
Did what they
their.
were supposed to do, yeah, and we come to find out that either something happened to Rufus or he's gone or something. I know they have George Carlin's daughter supposed to make an appearance in the movie. I don't know if that's related, but it also has to do with their children, who are actually girls, even though most people assume they were boys. I guess there was a big argument about that, but. So yeah, we get to meet their children, and they're still married, and they're in their 50s and haven't done shit with their lives. We already know what's his face, Kid Cudi or whatever is playing
Jimi Hendrix. Yeah.
Hendrix. We kind of have an idea of what the movie is going to basically kind of revolve around. Oh, and William Sadler is back as Death, of course, from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh, good. I like that.
Missy's in it. Ted's dad's in it. I don't know about Bill's dad, but Ted's dad's in it. Missy's in it. We know that for sure. Pretty much most of the original cast is back, but they've never had the same princesses, so it's new princesses this time too. But they're playing the same parts, of course.
Dude.
Yeah, but we think it's going to have more to do, since the first movie had to do with going to historical events in time, and the second movie had to do with heaven and hell. Mecca and I have a pretty good theory that this one's going to have to do with alternate dimension.
Mhm.
The multiverse.
Yeah, because we've seen different pictures of Bill and Ted where like
They
Ted
look
had,
wrong.
yeah, like Ted had a suit on in one part. Like we're assuming like there's different alternate universes where they went in different directions. Like Ted went to be a businessman, and or whatever, and they're seeing different versions of themselves, and they got to get to the right, I'm assuming. But they also must get help from classic rock stars and stuff from history too, which is where like Jimi Hendrix and them come in. So it'll kind of be like a mixture of all of them, but it'll also take another look on the outside, because that's one thing Mecca and I always say, and even Rob to a point, is that Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey just didn't get the attention it deserved, especially considering it's not a retread of the first movie all over.
I actually like Bogus Journey.
Yeah, I think I like it better. I'm more familiar with it.
It's not a bad movie.
No, I think the Bill and Ted. It's funny because Keanu has gotten.
I'm wearing my Keanu shirt too.
It's funny because he's really matured into being a bona fide actor, where before he was just like, okay, he's just the surfer dude, and I actually like him a lot better now. Like when you watch him in John Wick and stuff, it's like, oh, finally he's not going, dude.
Well, that's because he found directors to work with who worked to his strengths too.
Right.
He became aware over time of things that he could and couldn't do. And then that's just a smart actor. After over time, you kind of realize, yeah, I can't be doing British accents and shit.
Right. Yeah. Whoever cast him in Dracula needs to be shot.
Francis Ford Coppola, you can't blame him. He was the hot ticket item at the time.
But it was so bad. I always because here's the thing. I love that movie, the Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think it's a great film, very stylistic and all that. And of course, gosh, now I'm having a brain cramp. The guy played Dracula.
Gary Oldman.
Thank you, Gary Oldman. He knocked it out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like every time Jonathan R. Harker opened his mouth, it hurt because it's like, yes, I do not drink wine, and it's like, oh, dude, you're totally a heinous creature of the night, and it's like, no, why did you cast this kid?
Well, he wasn't the only one who was miscast. So was Winona Ryder, I thought too.
But when
I didn't mind her so much.
Yeah,
but
Winona-
her
yeah,
British accent sucked too.
Winona was not great.
Yeah,
but
they cast because of who they were at the time.
Yeah, but the thing about Winona is that while she was definitely a weaker point in the movie, she wasn't so bad that you would walk out of the theater talking about Winona Ryder, right? You walk out of the theater talking about Keanu.
Well, I just walked out of the movie because that came out in 92.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 12 when it came out, and I saw it opening night, and I'm like, "What the fuck
screw you, man! You were 12."
I was like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" Because the trailers were like totally misrepresented.
I liked it.
Now let me finish though. They were totally misrepresentative of what the movie was. Okay. Now at that point, I had not read the book. I'd never read the book. The only Draculas I had seen would have been Christopher Lee and what's his face in the Warner Brothers one they did.
Frank Langella.
Yeah, Frank Langella. Thank you. So those are
my wife loves the Frank Langella one.
Yeah, those are the only two Draculas I had really been. Of course, I knew of the original Dracula. I just never seen it. I just didn't get to see that till later in life when they re-released it. But short story long. So after I read the book, I started to understand Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula a little bit better. And then I also saw a documentary a couple years later, probably on either History or AMC or something like that, about the real Dracula, in quotations, about Vlad the Impaler.
Right.
So then I realized, I see what he did here. He crammed the two stories together.
Mm-hmm.
So I rewatched the movie years later, and I totally seen it through new eyes. So now it is like one of my, as far as Francis Ford Coppola goes, outside of course, The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, it's like that's one of his movies I don't feel like that gets enough attention. That he did a really good job with that, regardless of being saddled with Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder, which are probably his choices anyway. But that, like I said, that was just because they were the it kids at the time, but they weren't ready for something like this.
No, they were. Yeah, I agree. They cast them because they were famous, but yeah.
They should have had like two British kids playing the part. Sorry.
Yeah, probably.
Like, could you see if you were doing Dracula today, like having Jonathan Harker played by Tom Holland?
That would make sense. Plus, he's British anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I think that would be perfect. That would be freaking awesome.
Who would you have as Dracula now, though?
Oh, that's a little tougher.
Still play.
Yeah, I would honestly. Yeah, Gary Oldman could still play the part, and I think he would, and it would be awesome. Yeah, it's funny because part of me wants to say Benedict Cumberbatch.
Bad choice, but who would be an interesting choice, even though he's a little old?
Who's that?
Robert Downey Jr.
I like Robert Downey Jr., but when he played Sherlock, his English is just a little bit off,
Everybody seems to like him in that role, and
I liked him in Sherlock Holmes. Don't get me wrong.
Enough in a way that I think that having him in that, and there's other choices. Don't get me wrong, but I think he would be a good one.
You see, to me, Robert Downey Jr. in Sherlock Holmes, and again, don't get me wrong, I really, really enjoyed Robert Downey Jr. in Sherlock Holmes. Those two Sherlock Holmes movies, I'm not a Sherlock Holmes fanboy, but I love those two movies. Like if you look at all the old Basil Rathbone movies and stuff, to me, they're just kind of boring.
Well, it doesn't because you stole Benedict Cumberbatch from me. Enemy. That's what I was going to say. So.
Yeah.
I had to
But-
think of something. No, actually, though, who would also be a good choice is Loki. What's his face?
Tom Hiddleston. Yes, he
Yeah,
would
Tom
actually make a really good Dracula. And so, but yeah, I think that this would be a great time to remake Dracula with a cast like that.
Yeah, and that's what Hollywood. Now, if you're listening, these are the kind of remakes we don't mind.
Right.
Because we've seen a million Draculas. It's about time it's due for an update. Besides, like the Dimensions Dracula 2000s. You know?
Oh, don't remake it. I don't want another one. We've already got
But,
one.
you know how many Draculas we had? That's one thing.
I know. That's why I'm tired of them. I don't need any more.
Well,
I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you on this one, Mecca, because I think Dracula is one of those stories that you can tell. You have to tell it at least once every 10 years because it's just one of those classic stories that can be adapted with each generation.
Yes, but look what they do look what they're doing now. Everything would be CG.
Well, Dracula would be a woman now. That's
Yeah, let's skip this generation. They wouldn't like it anyway. He would be offensive because he would be, he just toxic masculinity having to have his way with women. They'd never be able to do it now.
Yeah, if you get the right people behind it, that's good. You get the right powerful people behind it, they can do whatever they want. But that's just it. It's getting the right people. You're right about that, Mech. I have to agree with you there. Is the chances of them getting the right people behind it are slim.
Well,
no, they'll hire Ryan fucking Johnson or somebody like that.
Oh God, don't give him that idea. He's Ryan Johnson's Dracula.
Oh man, that sounds like a great fan project to make like a spoof film of Ryan Johnson's Dracula, because how do you subvert the expectations of everything in Dracula?
She's the vampire the whole time when you think he is. That's how he'll subvert expectations. Yeah, isn't that funny how he thinks he's like an M. Night Shyamalan or something like that? It's like, dude, didn't you even realize and notice that M. Night could only make it last for like 2.5 movies before he had to realize that the twist ending doesn't work for everything? And that's Hollywood in general now. They always think if they throw in some twist, it makes their movie phenomenally better.
Well, the problem with Hollywood is that they think that, okay, X was a hit, so now make every movie like X. And the problem is that they're not looking at why was X a hit. They're only looking at the fact, like, for example, they'll say, okay, Deadpool is the second highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. What was it? It was a graphic, over-the-top superhero parody film. Superhero, R-rated. Okay, what we need is R-rated superhero films, and they'll all break records in box office. That's the way they think. And so they think that, so now if we put out like, an R-rated, movie that's like it's suddenly that's going to make it work. And what they didn't catch is that the reason Deadpool worked had nothing to do with the fact that it was R-rated. It had to do with the fact that it was true to the source material, that it was Deadpool, and that Ryan Reynolds, he fought tooth and nail to make Deadpool as authentic Deadpool as he possibly could. But that they're lost on that.
Yeah, I just wish that we're going to see if Tim Miller was really the reason or not. Deadpool 1 was phenomenally better than Deadpool 2 here in about a month or so. But anyway,
I think that we're going to see that Tim Miller is overrated. Quite frankly, it's like, I'll tell you, when I saw Tim Miller in those little interviews he's done and stuff for Terminator LGBT 2000, it's like that little behind the scenes clips that they show. How many times can you say the freaking F-bomb in a trailer? And don't get me wrong, I'm not a prude. I don't mind strong language in a film if it serves the story, but if the director is just walking around saying F this, F this, F this, F this, and he sounds like he gets off of saying it, and I'm like, okay, so this guy, he is a hack. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just he's like, "Oh, holy F, I'm making a Terminator movie. I got Schwarzenegger. Woohoo." And I'm like, "Oh, geez, this is going to suck." So, yeah.
It doesn't look good. That's the thing. The movie
When you
doesn't look
were a
very
little
good.
boy, what kinds of things did you like to do?
Sorry,
Shit. Damn it, Archer!
I didn't mean to do that. Got a Mr. Rogers soundboard up. Oops.
That didn't sound like Mr. Rogers.
It is him.
Can you go to the potty by yourself now?
Now that sounded like Mr. Rogers.
I'm going to get some use out of that one. I'm going to get, and then this one for Rob.
Are there things that make you angry?
Yes, there are.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. What do you say?
I was gonna say you sound like you want to end, Rob, so I think we can probably call it a night.
Yeah, but we have to do what?
What is it time for, Rob?
It's time for
Win Tom Stuff! That's right. It's time for Win Tom Stuff!
This is your last chance to get in a quick super chat.
When we're gonna as they say, stretch.
For 2 seconds.
Spin that wheel. Well, we're gonna give people a last chance. This is the last call to get your name on the wheel. Have about 12 names on the wheel right now. As I always say, the rules are: make a super chat. Your name goes on the wheel, but your name will only go on the wheel once. There is the prize tonight. You'll be having an ad for the Warner Bros. Archive collection of Gremlins. It's a nice package there.
I don't even think I covered the cost of tonight, but that's all right.
That's it. So, like I said, there's a look at the wheel. So hurry it up. Like I said, we got a couple more. We got a little bit more. When the music stops, that is when we will spin the wheel. Gonna give everybody one last chance to win the wheel. Spin the wheel. What do you think, Tom? When the music stops?
Yeah, 'cause I don't think anybody's that interested in it. Sorry, but gotta pick
What's
some
the
better
question?
price.
Win the wheel. No, the wheel's not up for grabs this time, Mr. Wesley Crusher.
One of these days we'll give you the wheel, Wesley. We promise.
So, like I said, we have about 1 minute left to go before we win Tom Stuff. And like I said, I think I got an item actually on my. Oh, let me take a look here while we're doing it. Tom, stretch.
Well, we'll have to save this for the next time. We'll save it for Friday's show, but yeah. Because I also got some other codes to give away. Some places too. Some movie codes. I'm going to see the Joker movie tomorrow afternoon, Chief Cook, and believe it or not, it's showing 18 times just tomorrow afternoon in the nearby theater.
You know what? I actually have. I'll tell you about this off the air because I don't know if.
Well, like I said, we'll save that for like Friday or next Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But I have something I bought years ago, unopened, still sealed. I'll let Tom know what it is. All right, everybody. There it is.
All right.
All right. Now it is time for ready. Everybody, can we get a drum roll, please?
We can get a drum roll. Let me get her.
Nobody knows. And the winner this week of the Gremlins package is Captain Hare.
Hey, about time, buddy. All right. Yeah. So what you need to do, Captain Hare, is get a hold of me on either Facebook or on Twitter. If not, I'll put the email in the chat here, and you can send an email if you can't get a hold of me on either of those, and give me your address so I can get that sent out to you. I got to get these other ones sent out here too this week. So,
like I said, everybody, thanks for playing Win Tom Stuff. We'll bring this. We'll do this again next week, and like I said, at some point I may have a prize to give away. So, but thank you
for codes too. Yeah, to give away. So we might even do it this Friday for the codes. So
yeah. So like I said, you never know. You never know when we're going to win Tom Stuff.
Yeah, we've been kind of mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it. It's time to call it a night. Actually, we'd like to thank the Anti-Trucker.
That's me.
Good luck with tomorrow.
Yes. So tomorrow I will become a cyborg. I'm very much looking forward to that. And so to plug, I do want to say one quick thing is that Friday after Midnight's Edge After Dark, assuming you guys don't go for a ridiculously long amount of time, I will be doing a special live stream because Friday is the 2-year anniversary of my very first upload to this channel, which then immediately got blocked worldwide by CBS. And so I am going to actually do a full-on hardcore discussion on the very topic that got that video banned by CBS. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Are you talking about the one I watched this morning?
No, this is going to be a see, I don't want to give it away, but although most of them
I got you. I just was wondering if you're talking about the one that I sent Rob and stuff.
Oh, no, that one that Mr. Miles did. No. That one is incredible. That's already up in public though. What the video that got blocked by CBS was 2 years ago. I put up I put up a video on October 4th of 2017. That was the first video I put on the Anti-Trekker channel. And it is, I never deleted it because I just love seeing it. There's kind of a badge of honor where it is blocked worldwide by CBS, even though most of the time when CBS flags your video, they just monetize it. But this one they actually blocked. So yeah, that's, I thought was interesting.
The bastards. So anyway, yeah. So, okay. We'll be on the lookout for that. Mecca, you want to tell about yourself and your channel?
Had to unmute. I am Mecha Random 42. Yeah, subscribe to me or else.
Or else?
Or else what?
You don't want to find out what else.
You don't want to know.
That's
wow.
All right. I'm of course Mr. Rob Robot Shlomo, and
are there things that make you angry?
Yes, there are. Yes, there are. Boy, we'd like to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight. I'd like to thank all our friends across YouTube, Doomcock, Gary over Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, World Class Bullshitters. You guys, you and Tom, Mecca and Tom had a good time on World Class Bullshitters with Ethan Van Sciver last night.
Yeah, in the High Council, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I took third at trivia. Boo.
So. I was substituting EBS until he showed up though.
But sometimes it's more advantageous
around.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's more advantageous if we don't win. So that's good. So anyway, we'd like to thank everybody.
How's it advantageous to not win?
Well, because if we win too many times, other teams lose interest and stop coming.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and you know everybody puts money to the money. The entry fees go into a pot, and you win whatever's in the pot.
Okay.
And so it's more, like I said, it's more advantageous if we don't win because it keeps other teams coming back. Phrasing. So anyway, like I said, no, not that kind of pot.
Yeah, Mr. Miles excited. He's
I don't live in Colorado or in Nevada.
So, or Oregon or California or Illinois or
you don't live in Colorado yet.
We said we were going to talk about that later.
Wait, what? Did somebody get whipped one too many times?
Who, me?
But they did still love her.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And we will catch you next time.
Bender, I've been Girder. That's all I'm programmed to do.
Kick you in the nuts.
I'm Krispy Kreme McDonald's.
And you go to the potty by yourself now?
Will you marry me? You don't know me.
I like big Asian butts, and I cannot lie.